Okay, so recently Coca-Cola released their commercial for this year's Christmas and they are receiving quite a backlash all over social media for using generative AI tools to cut down their production budget. Now, people are mainly furious that even after being number one beverages brand all over the world and generating revenue of like over $40 billion yearly, they still chose to cut down their production cost and use generative AI tools rather than hiring actual artists and still downgrading the quality of their commercial from last year's Christmas ad. Now, if we look at their recent commercial, if you're familiar with generative AI videos, then you can instantly tell that some of it or most of the commercial was generated with generative AI, so you can easily detect that. Specifically, if you see the character scenes where the human models are smiling, it looks lifeless and somewhat creepy to be honest. Then in this scene, the front tires of the truck suddenly splits into two. And this reindeer scene also looks a bit lifeless. I mean, there are very minimal movement in this scene. And also the polar bear scenes are not up to the mark, given the benchmark they have set for the quality of the content they have produced all these years till now. But given that, there are some positives like the close-up shot of the hand opening the Coca-Cola bottle looks pretty nice considering it's completely generated with AI. But I would have loved to see a Santa Claus scene in this commercial. Of course, the hands and the legs entering the frame are shown, but the ending could have been a bit better if they have shown a Santa Claus face with some facial expression. I'm not sure why they haven't added that because I think they could have done it with generative AI. They didn't have to actually hire an actor for that. So this might be their creative decision or they might have wanted to keep it as a suspense. But again, I'm not here to bash Coca-Cola for using generative AI for their commercials. After all, it's their money and they're free to decide where to spend their money. So rather than going into that, let's talk about how the animation industry looks like from here on. Now, if you remember, few months ago, even Toys R Us have released their commercial which was completely generated with generative AI model and they have partnered with the Sora, the OpenAI's model. And there were also some issues with the facial expression of the character and some character consistency or the hairstyle changing from scene to scene, and they have received a lot of backlash for that as well. And even 1.5 years ago from now, Netflix Japan released their short anime movie Dog and Boy, on which they have used some AI tools to design the background, and also some animation was, I think, done using generative AI models, and people were actually furious about it, which you can check out from the comment section of that YouTube video. So what I'm trying to say is this is going to be the new normal. So rather than completely rejecting the AI tools and bashing companies and people who are using AI generative AI tools, it's better to accept it in your own workflow because in future you may see other top brands like Apple, Google, Nvidia, even Samsung using or producing their commercials completely using generative AI models. So it is quite inevitable that generative AI tools are going to be the integral part of our creative process, and it's just not about the animation industry. Think about content writers, programmers or web designers and UI UX designers. Their industries are also going to be massively impacted by AI tools. So it's not like there is no hope, but take it as an opportunity and grab it. So right now what we are seeing is a whole new industry is revealing in front of us, like people who can use AI tools to create contents and effectively use it because AI tools are not going to generate anything by themselves. They still need some human touch. So right now you are not just limited to doing one thing. For example, if you are a graphic designer, you can continue graphic designing, but at the same time you can even provide creative writing services. So you can actually provide entire branding services to a company which would have taken like an agency to complete a task, like you can do graphic design, logo design, provide creative writing services, animation and even some video production services as well. And remember, whatever you do, some human touch will be always needed. Even after generating a video from generative AI tools, there might be, in most of the cases, you need to do some pre-compositing stuff in After Effects. Even if you are designing something from generative AI tools like Midjourney, you still need to edit something in Photoshop, or maybe do some or edit some illustrations or do some illustration by yourself. So those are the things that are always going to be theirs, because without human touch, if you just provide the AI output to your client, it will look like so soulless and heartless. And I can even assure you that there were some significant amount of compositing work was done even in the Coca-Cola commercial that recently was released. It's not like a random person has directly generated an entire video with a single line prompt. So my suggestion to all the aspiring animators and motion designers, or if you are already in this industry, would be don't focus on just learning the tools and don't focus on learning the technical part, because tools are going to be replaced anyway. Even the AI tools, right now you are using Runway, after 5 years there might be some different AI tools that are actually commercially used everywhere. So don't focus on learning the tools, rather focus on learning the fundamentals. So for designing, focus on learning the design principles and how to implement it. Then learn the color theory and how to select a color palette for your illustration. Then the color psychology to spark certain emotions from your viewers with your design. Also, it's very important to learn the animation principles and master the animation principles and how to implement it in your animation. And then there is cinematography, like what camera angles are best suited for your shots in your film. Of course, there are a lot more to cinematography than just camera angles. And then of course you should learn how to use the AI tools to get your desired result, and for that you need to learn the prompting techniques. So if you have full mastery over the basics of your domain, you will always be valuable till we reach AGI actually. Well, that's a story of another video. So that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.